Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Isabella, and welcome to How to Pass the PRINCE2 exam, 7th edition. Whether you're about to take your PRINCE2 exam or planning your certification journey, you're in exactly the right place today. So, quick housekeeping. So the webinar is going to take around 60 minutes. It's packed with value. Chat is open in a way of, if you have any questions, please drop us questions in the Q&A sections at any time. We have also exclusive offer at the end, so don't leave early. Now, let me tell you who we are. So a little bit about Aspirex. Aspirex is an internationally accredited training provider specializing in PRINCE2 and ITIL certification. We deliver training across the UK, India, Africa, and the Middle East, helping thousands of professionals achieve certification success. What makes us different? We have experienced tutors who know the exams inside out. We have comprehensive e-learning resources, practical scenario-driven approach, not just theory, and also outstanding pass rates. We don't just prepare you to pass, we prepare you to excel in real-world project management. And now we're going to move to agenda. Here's what we're covering today. First, we're going to focus on PRINCE2 overview. After that, we're going to move to exam formats and 7th edition updates. Move on to smart study strategy and how to use the official manual. It's a game changer, I promise. Then we're going to move on to mock exam strategy is very important. Then the exam day mindset, which obviously is very important to all of us. Common pitfalls to avoid. And the last but not least, your questions will be answered. This is practical, actionable advice. You can use it immediately. So let's dive in. Let me introduce you to our expert today, Debashish Jena, who also goes by DJ. Here's why you should listen to every word he says. So DJ has over 22 years of project management expertise, 22,000 plus professional trained worldwide, and he consistently has outstanding pass rates across the UK, India, Africa, and the Middle East. DJ has refined exam preparation strategies that actually work. His philosophy? You don't need months of study. You need smart, focused preparation. He's trained everyone from individuals to major corporation, and his practical scenario-driven approach has helped thousands pass their PRINCE2 exams with confidence. DJ, over to you.
Thank you, Isabella, and welcome all. So what's PRINCE2? The most popular project management method. So it was initially developed by the UK government, OGC, Office of Government Commerce, UK. And after many handoffs, currently it's with PeopleCert. PeopleCert is the body that maintains PRINCE2. So what makes PRINCE2 special is it combines governance, accountability, and delivery discipline into a single scalable approach. So PRINCE2 provides a set of principles, practices, and processes which when combined can be well applied to any kind of a project. So projects of any scale, any industry, any development life cycle, be it that the project adopts a predictive or traditional approach, or agile or incremental, iterative, all of them, PRINCE2 can well be tailored to suit any kind of a project. Now, the three pillars of PRINCE2. So PRINCE2 is based on these three pillars, the 7 principles, the 7 practices, and the 7 processes. So it's 7. 7 is the number, 7 of all. And we say the PRINCE2 integrates these 3 elements. Let's quickly take a look at what these pillars are all about. Principles to begin with. The best way to understand principles would be, these are best practices, or call them as guiding obligations, or let's look at them as core values that every PRINCE2 project must live up to. Like in our personal lives, we say honesty, integrity, these are some values we live all our life. So are the principles. In fact, whether a project is being genuinely managed using Prince2 or not, it can be discovered from its adherence to the principles. If a project does adhere to all the 7 principles in Prince2, that means it has been rightly applied. So that's principle. And then the 7 practices. Practices cover much of the knowledge that is contained within the Prince2 framework. I would choose to call them as knowledge areas. So all knowledge resides in these practices. For example, one of the practice is risk. So risk practices all guidance around how do we identify risk, how do we assess them, how do we plan responses, implement, monitor risk, the complete risk management lifecycle, right? So all such guidance, what specific treatment is required for a project that's being managed using Prince2 with respect to risk is what is contained in the risk practice. Likewise, you can generalize every practice contains, these knowledge. These are to be applied throughout the project lifecycle. 7 of them. And then here comes the third one, the 7 processes. Well, we do not have any additional knowledge out here. All knowledge resides in the practices. The best way to understand this would be, let's say risk practice, one of the practice. It guides us some dozens of actions that we should perform during the course of a project, risk related. Similarly, plans being another practice. It talks about several actions that we should perform. So do the other 5 practices. Now, what the processes do is they put them in a logical sequence. In what order are we going to execute all of these actions, the actions that are dictated by the practices? So in what order do we execute them? That's what the 7 processes tell us. So these 3 are pretty much well integrated with each other. So when I say integrated, like the principles, within practices, you would find there are actions that do suggest how do we adhere to these principles. Likewise, in processes, there are specific times where the processes call out certain actions that we must be implementing so as to ensure that these principles are implemented. So these are the 3 integrated elements. I just do one thing. Let's take a glimpse of these, themes, practices, and principles very quickly. Just allow me a sec. Just allow me a sec. Yeah. So this I pick up right from Prince2. So these are the 7 principles we have. Ensure continued business justification being one of them, learn from experience, and others you can see them. And about principles, these principles are universal. Universal to me, applicable to any kind of a project, no matter what project, all these principles can be applied. Take a look, like learn from experience, for example. What does this principle tell us? Learn from experience demands that at the very start of the project, seek previous lessons. So we should always try to use previously learned lessons. We cannot afford to commit every mistake in our current project. So whenever we start a project, we go check, have we done a similar project in the past? And if so, where there's some lessons we learned in that project, which could possibly be applied in the current one. We identify some of them and we must apply them, factor them in planning our project. Thereafter, this principle demands that during the course of the project, keep learning. Keep learning to mean, let's say we happen to learn a lesson in phase 1 of the project. We should apply it to the remainder of the project, if applicable, right? So learning lessons is not just about documenting them, it's about applying them, right? And a third thing, at the end of the project, pass on certain significant lessons that you learned. so that future projects could benefit out of it. So that's like what learn from experience is. And I'm sure you can appreciate that this is applicable no matter what project, whatever industry, whatever scale, we can always apply this principle. And so are the remaining 6. I'm not getting there, but all of them are universal. And then another characteristic of principle is these are self-validating. Self-validating to me, proven in practice. So it's not like some wise people did sit and, frame these 7 principles. No, these have evolved from what actually worked. So from successes and failures, these have been picked up. So where these principles were implemented, there was success. Where they were not, there was failure. So that's what self-validating to me. And these are empowering the practitioner. Another characteristic of the PRINCE2 principles, empowering the practitioner to mean it provides confidence to the practitioner, the project manager. If you count on them, success is bound to be there, right? So that's a view of the principles. The 7 practices here, the 7 practices: business case, organizing, plan, quality, risk, issues, and progress. So this forms the bulk of knowledge. These make up chapters in the PRINCE2 manual, and much of guidance is covered here. Every practice talks about what specific treatment is needed for that very aspect of the project. And here comes the processes, 7 of them. As I said, all knowledge is residing in the practices. So processes simply put things in an order, right from start to finish, in what order we're going to execute these activities. That's what processes tell us. So here the 7 processes, you see. So let's look at it this way. In any project, the very first stage happens to be initiation stage, and then followed by subsequent delivery stages, stage 2, 3. We could have 1 or more delivery stages. Let's say here in my project, we got 3 delivery stages, the first one being initiation. So the very first process to be applied to any PRINCE2 project is starting up a project. And that's applied before initiation. That's the time. I'm not going to get details, but at a very high level, starting up would cover major appointments, creating a business case to justify the project. Thereafter, the next process we're going to apply is initiating the project. And the timing, this is applied as part of the initiation stage. So in one word, I would say initiating a project covers all sort of planning. We build project plan, we define the controls, the approaches, all sort of planning we do. Then next, 2 processes would run in parallel. One is managing product delivery, the other is controlling a stage. These are applied to every delivery stage. So it's like this: managing product delivery, that's applied by the team manager as part of the delivery stage. It runs end to end across the stage. This process covers executing all the work, developing the products. While the team manager does that, project manager in parallel is going to be keeping an eye on execution. That's what it does as part of controlling a stage. So that's the timing of controlling. And also take a note, as I said, these are applied to every delivery stage. And then we got here another one, managing stage boundary. The timing of this would be applied at or towards the end of every delivery stage, even the initiation stage, by the way. So managing stage boundary is going to be applied here, and then again here, again here. So it's applied multiple times, managing stage boundary. And in managing stage boundary, there are 2 things primarily that the project manager is going to be focusing on. One, it creates the next stage plan, right? So we would have a high-level planning already done, but the detailed plan for the next stage is produced here at the stage boundary. And the second thing it does, it would report how well or otherwise the current stage that's about to end did perform. Okay, so this is what it does. Then let me take you to the 6th process that we have, closing a project. So the timing, that's towards the end of the project here. So as in case of any project, you would apply closer towards the end. Same is here. And there's one last process, the 7th one, directing a project. That's performed by the directing level, which we call as the project board. So the timing of that, it starts right after starting up. He begins and it goes till the end of the project. That's directed. So that's a very high level view of the 7 processes, the practices, and the principles.